Knives. They're an important piece of equipment for everyone, especially if you're a hunter or a knifeman. They're useful for skinning. By the way, did you know that skinning provides significant amount of experience also? And I beg you, stop crushing bones with knives. Use your axe or pickaxe, save your knife for emergencies. You're gonna need it when you run out of ammo. Knives are much faster than axes, pickaxes or even sickles in a battle and provide decent damage. With that said, let's review and compare each and every one of them. I'm going to evaluate those on 4 principles. The first one is the cost. To clarify the cost, meaning in the most competitive way, I included the tech chain that you need to produce a knife. I feel this is the most fair. Look and feel. And there is initial assumption. Every knife in the game of Icarus looks different in a first or third person view. That's a bit weird, but I totally support the developer's decision. The reverse grip for the first person view was a good decision because otherwise it will cover a significant view zone on a screen. But let's continue principles. The second one is lifetime damage and gathering and features. As a result, I'm going to decide in a very subjective manner whether it's worth it or not to learn and produce each knife. The first test subject is very essential stone knife. You have to produce it anyway when you first dropped without a knife from the station. It could be found at the very beginning of Tier 1 and will cost you only 2 fiber, 2 sticks and 4 stone. It looks decent, both from the first and third person view, exactly as I expect a stone knife should look. The minor flaw here is that on the icon, the grip is definitely bent, but straight on in-game view. It has minimum damage, which is fair, and it broke right away, so the lifetime damage is low. As for skinning, it has only 100 of yield, and you can skin a big carcasses using it, but what would you expect from a very basic knife? Considering its zero price, it's definitely worth it. Definitely legit. Let's move to the bone knife. Conditions for this guy are much more strict, because you definitely can skip him. This guy can be found in Tier 1 Tech 3 also, and will cost 2 wood, 2 laser, and 20 bones. For the look and feel, it's beautiful. I personally like this knife. It's narrow as a stiletto, totally white, and looks like a sharp bone, exactly as it should. Perfect. Slightly higher average damage, and it's more durable. Feels better, but not a lot better. 150 skinning yield is much higher than the stone one, so if you're a hunter, it might be worth it, especially considering benchless production and repair. The main disadvantage here is it can skin big animals, just like a stone one. Well, the conclusion here depends. It's definitely legit for the hunters, but it might not be worth the research points for the small advantage. But I leave it legit. Iron Knife is the first of the metal tools at mid-game. That boy is from Tier 2. Here he is. His cost is 5 wood, 4 leather, 6 iron ingots, and 2 iron nails. You obviously need iron to produce it, which means that its price is higher already. By the way, search for metals in caves. It's easy to find them in 3 simple steps. First, learn the map and find the nearest cliffs. Caves are typically placed in cliffs. Second, explore the area and look for something unusual, like gateways. And third one, check your assumptions. If you see this symbol, that means that is definitely closed cave. Grab your trusty pickaxe and make your way in. And don't forget take light, because Without it, you barely can see something. From the look and feel perspective, I'm mixed. On the one hand, the blade looks exactly like a cast iron. On the other, it's absolutely different from the icon. The icon doesn't have that weird ring at the end of the grip, but for the in-game view, it's pretty consistent boss for the first and third views. Damage is unnoticeably higher, but durability, oh my god, it's almost immortal. Lifetime damage here should be impressive. 200 skinning yield means another 50% plus, which is definitely good. And what is more important, this guy can skin the big animals. My conclusion here is definitely legit and even a must-have.
Whoa.
So now it's the steel knife. I think that it's also a mid-game tool. Another tier 2 puppy, right here, a little bit farther from the beginning. You need to have 5 wood for epoxy, 6 steel ingots and 2 iron nails. Steel is not too much harder to produce than iron, but its cost is higher, so it's fair, I believe. Look and feel. Well, based on the icon, I expected to have another narrow and clean stiletto, but end up with this Abyss kitchen knife. What a disappointment! At least it looks consistent between both views. Damage is slightly higher, but durability is... oh crap. I'm already afraid of the next knife in a line. I might run out of testing walls. Lifetime damage here is way higher. Exactly the same 200% here for skinning is kind of disappointment, so it might be not worth it. Well, my conclusion here is no-go, mainly because of its inconsistent look and feel. Platinum knife is the next. I think about it as an almost endgame tool. The strange thing here is the material. I always thought that platinum is fairly soft material. But okay, this guy lives in tier 3 at the very beginning of it, right here. To produce it you will need 2 refined wood, 1 cured leather and 12 platinum ingots. Look and feel is not bad, but wait a second. Oh boy. Somebody please tell developers that the direct grip for the knife should be sharp edge down, not vice versa. In the first person view though, looks okay, but overall it's still a boo. Damage here is noticeably higher, and no comments on the durability. Just check that out. Impressive lifetime damage is guaranteed. The same 200% skinning yield here is fairly disappointing, especially compared to the efforts needed to make it. My conclusion here is a no-go unless you have excess resources, time, and a great love for weird things. The last but not least, standard line knife. Yeah, we have to review a few special ones also. It's a very end game and very high-tech tool, no question asked about the material here. Titanium is a great and strong metal. This is a top tier 4 fellow, and you need to scroll through a little bit to see it. Right here. But you need to have 4 carbon, 2 steel screw, 4 epoxy and 6 titanium ingot. Look and feel are decent and consistent along the icon, first and third person view. It might seem a little bit large compared to the character, but I see no problem here. Damage here is just awesome, and added in with the incredible durability produces the highest possible lifetime damage. Another 25 plus skinning yield makes this knife the best in the vanilla game. The conclusion here is obvious. It's legit, a must-have, and my only love. Well, here we go, all standard knives covered. Let's move to the special ones. First in this line is the Obsidian knife. This tool is available in Tier 2, so it should be a mid-game knife. But gathering Obsidian is a pretty dangerous activity, considering it's available only in a volcanic biome. Look for it near the lava lakes. It looks like shiny black crystals. And don't forget the sledgehammer. Pro tip, hold F key while crushing it, otherwise it can fall under the texture and you'll lose this piece. This pretty could be found in a Tier 2, a little bit further from the beginning, right here. Besides obsidian, you'll need only refined wood, 5 pieces. It looks and feels exactly as it should. Beautiful black with lilac tint blade is just magnificent. Also, it's pretty consistent in all 3 views. Damage is slightly higher than iron knife, but only because of additional fire damage. Durability... wait, what the heck? It's just incredibly stronger. Okay, it is worth the effort to gather obsidian. But wait, obsidian is similar to glass. How could it be so much stronger? 250 skinning yield is even more than for the iron knife. But the main thing is an unique feature. This knife is able to cook meat during skinning with a 10% chance. That could be extremely useful if you run out of food in the middle of nowhere during an expedition. Well, my conclusion here is totally legit, even considering obsidian gathering dangers. And to be honest, it's just imba. The next test subject is called Steel Knife, and it's available on Tier 3. So it should be a mid-game tool also. The thing is that gathering super cool dice is even harder than the obsidian. It can be found in a very cold Arctic biome, where extremely low temperatures and polar bears can kill you instantly. Look for this deep freeze acne and place your ice burr on it. As I said, it's a Tier 3 fellow. Place it right here. Besides cold steel, you need to have 5 refined wood, 10 steel screw and 5 fur. Well, it looks and feels like a kind of magic weapon, with that blue metal and fluffy grip. I can't say that I like it, but it has its own beauty. It's a question of taste, I would say. Because of additional cold damage, it hits really hard. I can easily compare its damage with endgame knives. Durability is also way beyond standard Tier 3 knives. So it seems to be another imba. Oh crap, more than 1,000 hits. That's crazy, folks. That's just crazy. 200% skinning yield though is basically the same for Tier 3 and 4 knives, except titanium one. Of course, it has its unique feature, 30% chance to make meat chilled, which means that meat will not spoil for a longer time. I personally don't find this feature very useful. So, in conclusion, I think that this knife is not worth effort of gathering ice. A no-go. Now it's time to move to Tier 4 special knives. The first one here is Machete. Pretty badass weapon in real life. Yep, it's Tier 4, and you need to go all the way here to find it. And you need only 12 iron ingots, 4 refined wood, 4 epoxy and 2 steel screws. In the game though, it's the only knife that the character holds a direct grip because taking it reverse grip is illogical. In the first person view it seems really small. In a third person view though, it's scaled well compared to the character. Otherwise, it's pretty consistent across all the views. It has almost the worst average damage in Tier 4 knives. The durability is pretty in line with other Tier 4 knives, but the attack speed is way lower than you expect. You see, the attack speed of all the other knives in-game is pretty consistent. Only this Machete has really low speed so far. 110% skinning for Tier 4 knife seems like a bad joke. Even a 100% bonus for plant harvesting isn't worth it. The very basic bone sickle has the same feature. My conclusion on it is a no-go. It's simply not worth the effort even being fairly cheap for Tier 4. Next in the specialty row is a combat knife. It could be the best battle-oriented knife, but it doesn't seem to correspond to the developer's plan. Also, tier 4 guy, here it is, right on top on Machete. And you need to have only 12 steel ingots, 2 steel screws, 2 carbon and 4 epoxy. At least it looks and feels nice. Exactly like you're going to expect from a battle knife. It's simple, effective and pretty aesthetic. You gotta be kidding me. This combat knife has the worst damage in tier 4 knives. And coupled with average durability, this knife is not the best battle performer at all. At least it has decent 175% of skinning yield, which is also strange for a combat knife. The thing is that he doesn't even have any unique feature. The only unique part of it is a name and a pretty low price for tier 4. Well, it seems to be a definite no-go. It's not good for anything. The last knife for today is the Miasmic one. Unlike the cold steel knife, this bad boy looks kind of steampunkish. Unfortunately, it is also only available for Prometheus players. Another tier 4 beast, and we need to scroll all the way here to see it. Besides Miasmic Coating, you need to have 4 carbon fiber, 2 steel screws, 4 epoxy, 4 titanium ingot and 5 refined wood. This guy is pricey. Getting Miasmic Coating is not the simplest process. You need to find crystallized miasma in weird creatures. They live in a swamps biome. Be careful carrying it. Your character will get poisoned and might even die, but it's safe to transport in a mount. When you're back on the base, you can distill this crystallized miasma to Miasmic Coating on your chemistry station. Now having it, it's possible to produce miasmic tools in Foundry. Look and feel are just badass. I love what it looks like. And it's pretty consistent across all the views. This knife is a top performer in terms of damage among all the knives in the game. 40 poison damage makes it the most dangerous melee weapon so far. In couple with just amazing durability, this knife is just something wild. The only question I can't help asking is, why the heck the poison damage takes effect on concrete walls? Decent 175% skinning yield doesn't look impressive for a tier 4 knife, but it's pretty good. But its unique feature is what make all the difference. 10% of all the skinning results will be added as acidic glands. These glands could be converted to animal fat in a residue cleaner. So as soon as you have this knife, you'll never need to produce animal fat from the meat. Believe me. Attention, these glands are also poisoned and will hurt your character. Well, to be honest with you, it's the knife that I use the most when playing on Prometheus. My favorite one. Yep, it's pricey and takes a lot of effort to produce, but it's totally worth it. Totally legit. Now you're well informed to make your own decisions about all these knives, as well as you know my conclusions. If I missed something, or you have a different opinion about anything, let me know in a comment below. Consider subscribing for more content like this. And check out Icarus QA playlist, maybe. See you later, folks.